Hi everyone, so this tutorial is just gonna go through the steps needed to create a boilerplate test app for installing and testing snaps. This video tutorial is going to be based off of what Christian Montoya's already um, put out there. He has a great README, so do check that out. It has a lot of information for the steps that we're going to be taking today. It's a little bit different in our case. We have a different API to fetch, but same idea. So we'll just get right into this. We can start by using this template, and then we can just name this whatever we like. Snap, gasnow. So upon generating the repo, we're gonna clone this. I'll use GitHub Desktop. Great, so now we can just clone and open in our editor. So first thing when I come to the README here, when cloning, what we have to do is we want to run a shell file to remove some files that won't work outside of Metamask GitHub. So we'll just copy this. We'll open up a terminal in our folder and just run that command. So permissions might be denied here, like you can see, so we can just run another command prior to that in the same place to give us execution rights. And then we can run that original command to run this shell file, and that will do what we would need to do. So we can just yarn install here for now, and we can take a look at what to do next. So first thing we want to do is we want to add some network permissions because we're going to be fetching an API. So down in the initial permissions here, we want to add an endowment network dash access like so, and we can just save that. Cool. And over here now in our source folder, we see an index.js, and this is where the bulk of our code's gonna lay. We can see some other files here too, like index.html. And so we'll just get this running here. So we would need to build and then yarn run serve. So we'll just wait for our bundle to build and yarn run serve. And we should see it come up in looks like localhost 8080. So we'll just visit that right now. Great, so now we see our snap come up here. We can connect. This lets us connect, and then I guess we can try out other buttons. So we can send a hello, and it sends us a custom confirmation here. Cool, so can just approve that. Great. So from here, what we want to do is we're going to want to fetch a particular API, and that API is going to be from etherchain.org. We can see in the tools here there's a couple of things. What we want to pay attention to is gasnow. Gas price oracle is the older API that was being used. So we can just take a look at that too. It's pretty similar. Got gas fees, it's the main thing, and then some extra data on base fees. But you can see we migrated over here. So cool. So now on the gasnow gas price estimation, we can open up this API endpoint. Just take a look at what we have. There's a pretty neat extension, JSON viewer. You can just download that and it'll kind of help you see the data a little bit better. And so, cool. So now we have our URL here. We're gonna want to go back and create a function so that we can fetch. We can fetch this data. And so we'll fetch this API with the get get fees function, and we'll create a response that will await a fetch, and why it will await is because we want this function to be async. Fetch the particular API endpoint, and so upon fetching that, we'll get a response back. So we'll return a response, and that'll be it. And so in MetaMask, the confirmation window is just going to take a string response. So what happens here initially is we want to take our response and convert it to a JSON string so that we can actually represent it in the window. We won't be able to just represent a JSON format. So this will give us a string. From here, what we can do is we can look right under this case hello, and this is getting fired off right when we click send hello. And what we want to do for our case is pull the gas fees data and show it. So we created an async function here to fetch the data. Now we'll create a constant to receive the data. And we'll await that because we have an async function there. And the reason for JSON parsing is because we can see our data here. We have code, we have data, we have rapid, fast. The data we want is nested. We can display this entire thing, but we wanna I think we wanna show it in a neater format. So we're just gonna want to make it into a JavaScript object, and then upon doing that we can grab the metadata, and so this metadata will come out, and then from here what we want is the data, and so we can go metadata.data. This will give me all my fees data right here. Cool. And then from here what we can do is go to our text area content, and we could just display that fees right there. We're not gonna have an origin string, so we can just say hello gas fees for now. Cool, and then we're just gonna wanna rebuild this. So yarn build and then yarn run serve. So we want to reconnect here. we can see what happens when we send hello. Looks like must be a string, no more than 1800 characters. Right, so what we did was we converted to a JavaScript object. Must be a string, so can't be a JavaScript object and no more than 1800 characters. And so right now the fees here is gonna be everything that the data holds. For our scenario, we wanna maybe see the rapid, fast, and standard standard gas prices. So we can just create another constant here, maybe standard price, and that's gonna be our fees. Dot standard. So now we can convert this to a toString, and we can see what we get back. So we rebuild here. We can go check this out again. Reconnect. Send an hello, and we could see our confirmation pop up with the standard fee, and we can go back and double check here at our endpoint, and it is the correct amount. So if we look back at our main website here where the API data is coming from, we see that it's represented in GUI, so we can do the same, just a little bit of manipulation here. So what we want to do is divide this by 1,000,000,000 or 10 to the power of -9, and we could also represent this in a way so that we are showing the units as well. And now we can rebuild here. Just gonna refresh and reconnect here again. Connected, and then send hello. We get back 35 GUI, which is exactly what the standard price is right now. Yeah, and so this is the main idea here. You can just keep pulling more data in. Say you want slow price, same idea, and just to double check in the API endpoint, we're gonna want to grab slow here, so fees.slow. The text area content, we can add a line break here by doing this, and then we can just represent the slow price. Build that, and then we can serve it and just see what's going on again. Refresh, reconnect. So reconnect here and then send another hello. Great, so now we get the rapid price, we get the slow price. Can double check the endpoint. 35, 35, can check this. 35, 35, cool. So right now we're just getting the basic data that we want. Like we stated in the text area content here. But maybe we want to represent the data in a more effective way, so we can add a couple things. Great, so now we've brought some extra data in here. And then in the text area content we're just kind of showing it in a cleaner way here, just adding some line breaks. So we'll just rebuild this now. Build the bundle, and now we can yarn run serve. You can reconnect here. See what we get back. And so now we can see our confirmation window pop up, and we see the data as we wanted it. We get the standard gas price, what the price is for fast transactions, for faster transactions, which are the rapid transactions, and then for slow transactions. Pretty expensive. But the current price is also shown here at 3113. We get the current time. Yeah, that's all for today. Congrats on creating your first working snap. There's going to be a link for this GitHub project that I just created in the description. And please check out the documentation for more on snaps. It's very interesting and very innovative, so definitely something to look into. Thanks again.